Hello everybody, welcome back to my blog. I will be making shepherd's pie today. It's a very interesting pie. It's got veggies, ground beef, and there's no crust actually, which, yeah, it's cool. Anyway, so I'm peeling these potatoes to go in my mashed potatoes right now. And after that, I'm going to cut them into squares so I can boil them and mash them. Hello everybody, I will be cutting these potatoes into cubes. You know what a cube is, right? We're in geometry. Anyway, so I'm cutting these into these cube-like things. They're not all going to be cubes, but anyway, yeah. So I'm cutting these up and I'm sort of sliding it forward like I did in my previous video. How I kind of like slide it forward. Remember what I did with the carrots? Yeah. Anyway, so now I have this. So I'm just going to keep doing this, and I'll see you in a little bit when I put them in the water. So, hello, I will be sliding these in. Sliding those in. It's kind of going to go slow. Some of them are going to spill out, but I got them in. So the next step in shepherd's pie is I'm going to saute some onions and garlic in my oil, which is going to be heating up in a little bit. But I just need to kind of chop these into strips like this. And then I go the other way. And you know how onions make you cry, right? Fun fact, in my class, this kid, he told me that the middle part of the onion is what makes you cry, actually. And I thought that was really interesting. But it's not making me cry yet, but it probably won't in a sec. But I'm just cutting these right now. I'm kind of cutting them into cubes, and as I cut them into cubes, I'll mince them so they get a little bit smaller. But I just want to get the small kind of form of these before I start trying to mince them up a little bit. Because if you just mince it, if you start mincing it with like a huge onion, that won't really work. So I'm kind of chopping these. Now I'm done chopping those. I'm going to put those together and sort of like chop. So I'm just like chopping it right now, and that'll go in my oil in a little bit. Now that my oil has heated up, I'm going to add my onions and garlic. So I just slide it in like I did with the potatoes. See how it's getting really like fry. All the oil's kind of starting to heat it up. So you have to be really careful. Now I have to pull out my spoon. Sort of mix this around a little bit, so I want them all to cook evenly. So now that we have sautéed our onions and garlic for 3 to 4 minutes and they're translucent, we're going to add our ground beef right here. If you're working with raw meat, make sure to wash your hands after working with it, as I'm going to do right now. But just dump that in right now. Doesn't matter what kind of ground beef you're having, and yeah, it can just be any kind of ground beef. It doesn't have to be this kind of beef. What we got. So I'm basically chopping it up into big pieces, and then after I chop this up, I'm going to like mix it around, trying to chop it more into little pieces, so I have it kind of spread out evenly, mixed in with the garlic. Really good. Now this is cooking really quickly. I'm going to turn down the heat to 5, so it doesn't like burn immediately because it's so hot. But yeah, just mix this all around. Now that I have browned my meat from pink to brown, I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of flour for this gravy I'm trying to make to mix it with this. So I'm going to add this flour, mix it all around, try to spread it. After I mix it a little bit, just a little bit, I'm going to add this 1/3 cup of water from the potatoes so it has a little bit of starch. So after I add this, kind of calms down a little bit. I want to mix this all around so I can make a gravy thing. And I think this is a little bit too liquidy, so we're going to add a little bit more flour. So a little bit more, and it seems to be a little bit liquidy. So we're adding a little bit of flour. Let's see if that's good. Yeah, it seems good. So now we've added our flour and water from the potatoes to make our nice gravy. See how that's kind of gravy thickness. I need to keep moving it so it doesn't like cook like so it has to stay thick, but it won't stay thick if I don't keep moving it. So I've set the meat and onion mixture aside, and I'm going to focus on the mashed potatoes. Now, what you do with mashed potatoes first is you take up one piece and you put a fork in it to check if it's fork tender. So when I put this in, it's very soft. So I push it back in, and I'm going to take my drainer, which is right there, and take my handles, and then just drain it. Pour this water and potatoes in here. It's kind of hot. You need to give it some time because sometimes I pour it in and I don't give it time to drain fully, and I still have water in it. So I like to shake it sometimes. Shake it, give it some time to drain. Yeah. So I think this is drained. So I'm pouring these potatoes in right now, and I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of butter and about a quarter cup of milk to make it nice and creamy. So after that, I have my masher with me. I'm going to mash all this up to make it nice and creamy. Now this milk is kind of pulling it down a little bit, so that's good. And I can kind of see I'm pushing it down, I'm twisting it, so I can get all these little particles just really mashed together. And I can mix in this butter right here. And see how it's kind of coming together a little bit. The butter takes a little bit to melt. So I'm sort of mixing this around, and in a little bit it will be mashed fully. Now I have all my elements for shepherd's pie. So now what you do is vegetables, then meat, and then potatoes, and then the cheese. So we chose peas for our veggie, but you can choose anything like carrots or some other examples you can think of, and you can even mix them around. It's really tasty. But we chose just peas for this one. And I'm putting this meat on, and I'm sort of spreading it around, and I'm scooping it, scoop by scoop. Now there's just a little bit left, so I'm just going to pour that in. Now I'll put this back and use my spoon to kind of flatten it out like this. So now I have this kind of flattened out a little bit. I'm going to take my mashed potatoes and I have this spoon right here. I'm going to take it and so I have my mashed potatoes with this spoon, and I'm taking it scoop by scoop. And as I did with the meat, I'm sort of spreading it out like this. And just keep doing that. You get it kind of flattened out. It looks really neat and nice. You really want to get it neat so it doesn't look like just a big mess. And you want to have a good shepherd's pie. Anyway, so I'm flattening this out a little bit. It's taking a little bit of time, but hey. So slow and steady wins the race. So, the fun part, it's cheese time. We're taking our cheddar cheese and we are spreading it around. You don't have to use cheddar, you can use mozzarella or provolone, just anything you want, but we're using cheddar. And I'm basically spreading it evenly around all of these areas of the shepherd's pie. And I like a lot of cheese, so I'm putting all this cheese on and the rest in here. So now I have it all spread around. And this is our shepherd's pie, not big. So I'm going to pop this in the oven and let it cook, and we are going to put it in there until our cheese is melted and bubbly. So slide that in there. You have it in the oven, and in like 30-20 minutes, we're going to take it back out, and it'll be done. So this is our finished product of shepherd's pie. It was a great experience. I had a great time. There's a lot of techniques you can do in this recipe. I want to give my mom some credit. She filmed this video and she taught me the recipe, so it was really fun. I had a great time. I hope this tastes good. See you next time.